2-1 for Kungarna.
2-0 for no cloud from my side. Let's see who's
Okay.
right. Hurix, take it away.
Okay. So starting off, I'm curious to see, or curious to know what that one map is going to be. But as we have Chain coming through on the main tank, it's going to be Vita Coco on the Diva and Harblue. There was some discussion between you two about if you would play the Roadhog, but not the case. Gotta play the Zarya on King's Row. It's almost necessary. But something to note is that No Clout before have shown a one tank strat attacking on this map, and it looks like that's going to be the case again. Hawk getting into position. Voil has already found the first pick, and how do you take care of this when you're already down? It's 5v6, and the soldier is now surrounding you, and you have a problem vertically with the Pharah in the sky as well.
It's just so difficult to deal with so many threats on this lineup of No Cloud. Is gonna already be looking to get the second tick on the board, and that payload started up on King's Row, and as a result, we will look to see Kungarna potentially get a hold started off of that choke point. Now moving on to the street phase already. We'll see adaptations and swap coming in for No Cloud too. So I really like this out of him, as we will see Hawk on the Zarya and Sugar Free now on the Junkrat.
Harblue coming forward. They really want to contest in this archway here. It's very important for them to try to steal some time away if they can, but now in the back line, Ezire up top, getting pressured out. You'll see Voil taking him on in the window. And now Ezire's forced back. They still have the barrage that they've been holding on to.
And they need to start making things work for them, but we'll see whether or not that will be the case, because Harblue could be good to go with that Graviton and no Diva on the other side. Means that all those targets could be caught off, and he will go for it, but the Transcendence is at the ready. And so far, Coalescence will be prompted out, but Voil will come out on top of that engage as he gets a double kill off of it. And even though they tried, it didn't quite have the burst necessary to secure the team fight. And as a result, No Cloud will be making quite a bit of distance here throughout the second part of King's Row.
They just got past that 5-minute mark, and they're already getting close to that second objective. They have two bodies on the payload, just pushing it forward, trying to get there quickly, holding on to a tire as well. We'll have to see how Ezire makes quick work of it, with Attack Visor. We want to see what kind of position he's able to get into, and if they're going to be able to dodge and avoid this Riptire from Sugar Free that's already out, sneaking its way past everybody.
It is going to be taken down, but nobody to contest as the Air Shatter did come through. A big one coming out of Hypnot means that the team fight will be secured off of it, and Sugar Free with the Riptire splitting their attention made things easy for that Reinhardt to come in, land a big Air Shatter, secure that point, and with 5 minutes and 25 seconds left on the clock, it seems like we're having the weaker Kungarna show up so far.
They've really struggled. I mean, a quick adjustment from No Cloud. They go from 3 DPS to 3 tank, but an opening now as Dogman takes the kill onto Jer. They have the Graviton down as well. Transcendence ready. They haven't had to use their support ults in quite some time. Riptire will be available soon as well. I mean, all the control in the world. This is the No Cloud that we were waiting for.
And with that, it's going to be one last contest coming out of the other side, as we'll see the Graviton be available. Can it finally turn things around? Transcendence once again had it ready for Dogman, but Desire gets one kill off of the Attack Visor. Riptire is going to claim one itself, and the Air Shatter is not going to be enough. Nobody on the payload means that we will see No Cloud have an exceptional offensive round here on King's Row, and I got to give it to Gravity. So far looking like his prediction is much better.
I mean, it seems like, given time, now that Dogman and Insomniac have had some time to mesh with the roster, they've been able to, work together for a little bit, integrate them into some of the plays that we saw from No Clout early on in the tournament. It seems like it's really worked out for them quite well, because Dogman and Insomniac have really been playing cohesively with the rest of the team. We see them having, a little bit more mechanical skill in that department as well. Some, like I said before, Dogman is kind of a veteran in that role now, given his performance with contenders and, playing with some of the, strong teams that were kind of around a little bit that he was scrimming with before the contenders teams got announced, and he wound up coming over to this squad of No Clout. And I mean, he's had a lot of experience. He's had a lot of time and a lot of games under his belt at, a pretty high level. So bringing him into this roster, I think, was a great move, especially if you bring a guy like Insomniac, who we saw, you know, just this past weekend, playing in that Hometown Heroes setup with Philly Fusion, and was able to make the final 6 for that as well. So obviously a very skilled player himself, and brings a lot to the table. You know, knows this kind of T3 scene quite well. I've been casting this guy for a long time. So yeah, bringing some guys in that really know their stuff, I think really helped them out, and now they can just kind of flesh out the rest of the issues that they had, and it seems like they did just that.
And it was really awesome to see that triple DPS setup for that first point pay off once again for them. Seemingly not quite able to deal with it. Kungarna will look to have a better time on offense with a triple tank, and Desire set up on that Junkrat. But considering the fact that on the other side, Sugarfree will look to retaliate with a Junkrat of his own. Voil already set up on that high ground too. It's gonna make things very difficult for them, really, to contest this point.
Desire and the rest of Kungarna sneaking around lobby. Reminds me of the Kungarna strats from a year ago. They always used to use this play to swap sides with them, try to take the positional advantage. Hypnot forced back a bit, and they have some control, but they need to keep their tanks alive.
And so far, it's looking like things are not looking too hot for them with that approach. They're gonna at the release have the Coalescence at the ready, but so far, overall, it's still going to be a favorable team fight potentially here for the defensive side, as they do not give up any ticks on the point with Coalescence. Opened up on both sides. The laser show is gonna go through, but the Graviton is gonna catch most of the members. Even the Riptire gonna come out. Will be spotted out by Zyre, but it does not matter. It is going to be, once again, no Clout winning out on that one, as Hawk, the better Zarya this time around, will be able to charge up that Graviton much quicker and secure the team fight for his team.
They also have Boyle still holding onto that tack visor, and if nobody's going to be able to pressure him out, like Ezire with the tire or Vita Coco jumping up on top of him, it's going to be very difficult for them to deal with it. And with Vita Coco looking at the main fight, I don't know, but he's going to go right up. They're going to try to put some pressure. Ezire does go over there as well, but Boyle's still safe up top.
Tack visor will be popped. Voil now looking to retaliate or just push them away with it, as we will even see Dogman pop the Transcendence. So a team fight secured, but was it a little bit too much committed, as we will see Azar actually find one kill in return. Voil grabs one back on with the Helix, but overall, considering the fact that the Transcendence is out of the picture, if Harblue lands a big Graviton, that could very well by itself secure this payload on and the second phase started here for Kungarna.
But they're buying so much time for Hawk. He's at 90%. The Graviton comes out. Hypnot's not in it. He's going to be able to have that extra bit of time. Hypnot helps find the kill. The fire strike on Ezire's tire. Coming back around. Look at the charge for the Graviton.
And not even that, Hypnot snipes the tire, then shuts them all down with the Air Shatter. Hypnot having a definite just exceptional play. I'm at a loss of words here on that Reinhardt, as he will not only save his team with the Riptire being out of the question, out of the picture, but also buying enough time for Hawk to now have his Graviton in return. And it's going to be very difficult, as the Riptire is going to be spotted out by Zyre. But once again, it does look like overall no Cloud will potentially win out on this one. Earthshot, it comes in a little too late, but the self-destruct will be popped. Haku finds one kill onto Dogman, still looking for more with the help of the sound barrier, but it's still not going to be over just yet, as it's 60 seconds left on the clock. Hypnot might just charge up another Riptire, now looking to stay alive with the rest of his team. And Kungarna struggling to find any opening now.
Really playing for control here. Fire Strike ready for Hypnot, but he can't find an opening to use it. Looking to try to get the Earth Shatter up, and it's up. Barrier is still up, though. Vita Coco, oh man, coming through as we see Chain holding out just long enough. Sugar-Free might be able to turn this one back around, but I don't think that that's going to be the case. He's going to die out. Dogman has already pulled back, so is Hawk. And they will capture the point out, but they had to fight through everything to get through.
And you gotta ask yourself whether or not Voil could have potentially gotten anything done off the attack visor if it was enough to shut down this push. However, it not being the case does mean that moving on to the streets phase on King's Row, we will still have Dogman's Transcendence at the ready, whereas on the other side, Ezire will look to shut it down with the Riptire potentially opening up a quick kill burst, of course. Definitely very strong, but so far unable to find too much success overall. as we will see the self-destruct being launched, coming out of Vita Coco, but only pushes the opposition away. But Hardblue finding one kill in the end, and Insomnia, it's gonna be Desire with a triple off of that Riptire, and just like that, Kungarna strikes back.
Shane holding on to the Earth Shatter there, able to generate it off of Hypnot. They got into a little hammer duel between the two, but they're really going to look to try to see if they can shut Dogman out of this next fight. If they can do that, they should be able to secure themselves a second checkpoint and actually have a decent amount of time to work with for the last phase, and maybe give themselves an opportunity to play through outside of regulation and maybe get this back in their favor. But with Shane looking for that opportunity, just playing with a little bit, it comes down, but the Transcendence is already out, and Dogman gets thrown off the map.
And it's a 1-for-1 trade, as we'll see the Graviton be popped. Coalescence in return on both sides, keeping them safer now, as the return Graviton is going to look to have more success, but the Sound Barrier will be good enough. No is the answer, as Jer is going to be going down. Hypnot still swinging away, gets a charge onto Vita Coco with the D-Suit following up. It will be once again no Clout winning out on this team fight right before the second checkpoint is achieved here for Kungarna, and with 1 minute left on the clock, no ultimates in sight. Things are looking pretty dire for them right now.
60 seconds remaining.
Time gone now, as well as they have to come all the way back from respawn, walk the long road through the city and over to the Foundry. Vita Coco coming forward, blocking off a lot of damage initially, but won't be able to block a tire that's coming through from Sugar Free. They go through, and it's going to land right on Shane's head, but he takes it out.
And takes out Sugar Free too. Vita Coco finding him in return is going to make things difficult potentially for the hold here, but they did buy quite a lot of time, even pushing him not away. But we remember that Earth Shatter is at the ready. Desire somehow finding the kill onto Dogman to start it out here. Follow up with a Coalescence, potentially Hypnot still looking for an angle. It's gonna be Jer getting the kill, and it seems like overall somehow Kungarna still finding the kills they need, will manage to potentially get this payload onto the second checkpoint, but not before Voil will look to contest. And the Graviton coming back from spawn, it's going to be potentially the defensive side still winning out, but it's gonna be so close as it's an all-out brawl on that payload. Hardblue still lying in wait with the Graviton, is not going to commit. And maybe that will be what they need to push this payload through this final phase here on Foundry.
If not, Earth Shatter for him, Dogman close to a Transcendence. The two that made it out are going to be the guys that you need to keep looking at. If no Clout want to make this stop, they have two fights that they have to play through, and Hardblue has a Graviton for at least one of them.
And of course, Hypnot, as said, still having that Earth Shatter could potentially be extremely dangerous, buying enough time or just enabling his team to once again win a team fight outright. On the other side, Chain having his shield drop pretty low, even the target being the target of that Discord is gonna make things very difficult for him to contest. Hypnot looking for an angle, it's gonna drop really low, and he doesn't find it. This time around, Chain was at the ready, returning with a Earth Shatter of his own, and even though the Transcendence was popped, it's still going to be, in the end, no Cloud winning out on this one with 36 seconds left on the clock. It's gonna come down to whether or not Hardblue can land a big Graviton, or Desire finding a big Riptire kill to start it off with this next team fight.
The problem here, though, is that there might still be enough time that if they lose this fight to the Graviton from Hardblue, they might be able to get back in for another look, as Hawk will probably have a Graviton himself. He's very high on energy right now. They need to make sure that they keep him alive. I actually think it got eaten up by the defense matrix.
And as a result, it's still gonna look like we'll see the Coalescence be popped. Overtime might kick in. Desire and Hardblue, they'll still dishing out damage. We'll look to push them away. These potential final few kills coming through could buy their team enough time to get this one all the way through overtime. But it's gonna be very difficult either way, as one more team fight should be in question. And look at that, Hawk does have the Graviton, as you said, being charged up. We'll even see Hypnot swap over to the Mei, look to contest this one and buy enough time to make that happen. But overall, kills still favoring Kungarna. They need to close this one out. Hardblue gets the double, and the Graviton is not in it in the nick of time. And Kungarna get that final point, but it's gonna be very difficult for them to hold this one out.
I mean, you're talking about over the regulation time. You know, the typical time that you see is 4 minutes. And looking back at the way that we know No Clout likes to attack, you have to wonder if there are going to be some adjustments made, because, you know, oftentimes you would see, you know, perhaps like a dive to try to deal with Hawk, or something like a McCree base or something to try to deal with Voil. You need something to deal with either of those two, but given the fact that they have Vita Coco and Chain, you know, they are limited with their options. And here we see a different look. They're going to be going for a dive style and playing with Harblue on Hog. And again, they are kind of limited with what they can do with this particular lineup, but this is something that is interesting. I mean, you're going to be looking to see Harblue doing one of two things, either flanking and finding picks and buying them time, or he's going to be establishing some control on the point as he has a lot of self-healing, and we won't expect to see an offensive Ana, so they won't be able to shut him down much there, or like a McCree or something to be able to flashbang him. So he should be able to establish, you know, some semblance of control on the point, but I imagine we're going to see more of the classic Harblue, the flanking Roadhog from this man to, again, buy time with those picks that he can get with the chain hooks.
And buying time is what he's going to need to do, considering the fact that we will see no Cloud right now. 4 minutes and 27 seconds is what they have, and they only need 33% on this first point over here on King's Row. Now looking for those angles. Fair Mercy is once again in play for Voil. This triple DPS comp for them once more, but curious to see whether or not this time around they're still gonna find success as Desire gets their first kill. Vita Coco though, losing his mech is gonna make things very difficult for Kungarna to deal with the Fair, as Voil is gonna get another kill, and with that follow-up, I just cannot see how Kungarna can win this one out eventually, but we'll see Desire going down too. Without that suit, Vita Coco cannot contest, and it is going to be the nano boost used, but too little, too late. It is, in the end, eventually going to go in favor of no Cloud. Even with these heroics displayed here by Harblue and Vita Coco, it's not enough, and it will indeed be no Cloud picking up the first win of the series.
And given how we know No Clout likes to attack on this map, you have to wonder if Kungarna knew that going into this, because bringing out a roster like this to, you know, obviously show that they were going to be playing a lot of triple tank using Desire, you know, on a Junkrat or something like that. I don't know if that was the best play.
We'll see whether or not they can step it up and equalize the series now, as we will move on to Anubis up next. Don't go anywhere.
Rebecca, the analysis desk, once again, no Clout looking amazing in this series, to say the least. They basically snowballed in the attack, and Kungarna had yet again a lackluster game.
But it was an interesting approach coming out of them, having both Chain and Vita Coco on the roster, something we haven't seen in the past. And I'm not sure if this series is where you want to experiment, because if they lose out on this next map, they're out of the tournament.
Well, they maybe just like to take risks. So now, looking at the tank lineup of No Clout, I was especially impressed with Hypnot and Hawk. I think they are one of the main reasons why they won this match.
We've seen in the past, especially with King's Row, how important the Rhine versus Rhine battles are, and Hypnot displayed it firsthand why that is the case, because he had a lot of big Earth Shatters, which, as you said, secured the snowball for his team, and with it, overall, the map win. And I like the fact that they also brought out the triple DPS comp once again.
Now it does seem that they will field Jesus once again, and do you think this is something that can potentially bring them back in this series?
Most definitely. I think when they had both Azire and Jesus on the lineup was when they looked at their best. But the question for me will be whether or not they're going to have Chain on the roster once again, because so far, when it comes to the Assault maps, that was their choice overall. But it's a tough choice, I'd say, considering the fact that both of them have somewhat of a similar playstyle. It's going to come down to which one they're going to pick in terms of prep with the maps.
Do you still stick with your beloved prediction?
Well, I'm sweating a little bit, I gotta admit, but they can still do it.
Yeah, that is true. Now, we've seen No Clout play on Temple of Anubis before. Do you think they will incorporate similar strategies?
It's gonna be not the case when it comes to the one they had previously. At the very least, I don't expect to see Bastion on it, but we might just see Sombra at the very least from the other side here, from Kungarna.
I have a feeling we might see Bastion again. Casters, take it away.
All right, starting here on Temple of Anubis, we got Hobbs on the Widowmaker, so they are bringing some similar strategies, but not the ones that, you know, are better talking points, which obviously was, you know, the Junkrat Bastion combo. But Hobbs being back on the Widowmaker with space created by Hypnot could be a safe option for them to find some picks, some opening kills to get into the site with, and then provide some consistent damage output, as Hobbs has been known to really land a fair few good shots.
Especially now that Jer is going to be the first one to fall. Things already looking very dire, potentially for Kungarna. It's going to come down to whether or not Haku, with that health pack control, can somehow charge up that EMP to swing things back in their favor, as they did give up that one kill. Hobbs finds another one, this time onto Azire, and with that one, I just can't see how Kungarna can regroup to get this win. It has to be off of the EMP, because nothing else is inside available, and now Haku forced to disengage. It will be Jesus getting the D-suit at the very least, so they might still push them away. No ticks achieved as of yet. Pulse Bomb is gonna come through. Harblu though, denying that one, I believe. And Hobbs gets the D-suit in the end. Still looking for those sidelines. It will be Haku claiming one more onto Hypnot, and still nothing in terms of those ticks.
And Insomniac put under pressure by Jesus, but he's going to be forced to back off as Hobbs landed a shot there. And Azire will get the better in the deal this time. And an EMP again, already back up for Haku. Kungarna looking to try to once again have a strong performance on Temple of Anubis. We saw it yesterday, and maybe this could be just their map.
And considering the fact that we will most assuredly see Haku hunt down Dogman once again, who does have the chance, it's gonna be big, but already Hobbs claims one onto Jesus, and in return we'll see that Zenyatta go down, but can they still follow it up, as overall it is going to be Azire, the second one to fall here for Kungarna, forced to go on the point. It will still look to retaliate, but overall things are looking good here for No Clout, as the Sombra is gonna be popped. One tick achieved. Jer under a lot of pressure will eventually go down. Even Primal Rage now used by the side of Hypnot. Pulse Bomb is gonna come through. It's not gonna be successful. It's just gonna push them away ever so slightly, and in the end it should be No Clout getting this first point.
We will also see the EMP held on to by Haku, looking for an opportunity to throw it out, but will not find anything initially. They're gonna back off the point, and they're gonna be looking to try to hold out on the second. Health pack already taken by Haku now. Trying to get some use out of it, but Sugar Free diving in, almost claims the kill on the Haku to start things off. EMP forced out just to try to keep him alive, but not going to amount to much.
And with that kill, things already looking stellar here for the attacking side of No Cloud, looking to potentially secure this point up real fast as Harblue loses his suit. We'll see the blade come out though. Azire, can he find the picks? Can he get those on the board? It will be a 1-for-1 trade, make that a 2-for-1, as we'll see both Tracers still going back and forth, claiming 1 kill each. And overall, it should be the defensive side looking to regroup, but as I say that, somehow it will be Dogman getting a kill, but not before Jesus still gets one in return.
Hawk is gonna have a long walk before they finally let him die off. And he's trying to make his way, and they finally do, but 440 remains on the clock for them as Sugar Free now on the Genji. Hobbs on the Tracer, a more classic dive style for them, but still something that they have to, you know, still be worried about the Sombra with. I mean, Haku has been generating these EMPs very quickly, and while the last one didn't get as much, it still kind of kept them, you know, feeling quite claustrophobic underneath that bridge.
And we'll see Chain be good to go with the Primal Rage, but so is Hypnot. Might be forced to pop it pretty early though, as Hobbs also gonna go pretty low. Now looking for an engager. Will be Haku with the EMP, but it's gonna be enough as Hobbs still gets the kill. Chain finally retaliates with one of his own to Sugar Free, but it's still Hobbs fragging out, getting a double so far, looking for more. Will be healed up, and it seems like they bought themselves enough time to re-engage onto the point. Sound barrier will be popped, and with it, we will look to score at the very least 1 tick right now, looking for even more potentially, especially with Jerry going down. Transcendence pop though, and with the self-destruct coming out the other side, it's still going to be kills favoring the side of No Cloud, as the stall is still pretty good on the other end. Haku will look to do just that. That pulse bomb did come through. Hobbs did go down, but with these final few kills, it's gonna be only Jer left on the point to contest, and it should be No Cloud taking that second tick soon enough too.
But just enough time to regroup for Kungarna. They have the EMP from Haku jumping into it, but the blade from Ezire will be shut down. And I don't know if they're gonna be able to find the kills without it, as Sugar Free gets taken down as well. Harblue proving to be quite lethal on the Diva, but he will lose his match. Jesus trying to hang on, getting onto the point now, putting pressure onto the Diva. Not going to be able to find anything, at least for now. The Defense Matrix will be able to claim most of that damage that he tried to throw out. Shane looking for the ultimate right there, Primal Rage. Ezire!
Coming back in on the Doof is going to be able to get both supports, and just like that, it is going to be Kungarna finally stabilizing onto the point, but it took them quite a while at the very least. Bought themselves a bit of time, especially with Hawk also losing that suit. And I'm curious to see whether or not he will stick to the Doofus, because he is getting pretty close to that Meteor Strike. So we might just see that happen. However, it's going to come down to that sound barrier to really buy enough time and make sure Sugar Free is denied with the use of that blade coming up soon, potentially for them.
But now Ezire, I don't know, I mean, he's sticking to this. And I mean, as he does get the meteor, I mean, I'm wondering if it's gonna cause Dogman to pop his Transcendence at a time where they don't necessarily want it. Already on the point, we see Hobbs pulling a lot of that pressure, pulling a lot of that fire over to the side, throwing out the pulse bomb again, won't find much.
And the blade was used, but so far, not too much success gained off of it. And overall, Pulse Bomb is going to get the D-suit onto Hawk in return. Of course, the Transcendence as well as the Sound Barrier is still available. Finally coming out from the offensive side, Dogman looking to get something done here for his team. But it's going to be Azire getting the kill onto Hawk. And as EMP is going to be pushed out, it will be Harblue claiming another kill this time around under Tracer. Azire's taking to that Doofus will not even need to go for the Meteor Strike. And as a result, with 1 minute and 20 seconds left, Kungarna might just hold this one out.
I mean, we just haven't seen that same lethality from their DPS so far. I mean, especially with their ultimates, I'd say. Sugar Free and Hobbs just haven't been collecting the kills. And in the meantime, Jesus and Ezire, the classic duo that we missed in King's Row, they're able to pull out a lot themselves.
And here the problem is we'll see Haku go in once again, trying to get something done on that backline. Will be unsuccessful. At the very least, will force out the Sound Barrier rather, but Meteor Strike, Life coming back in return. He gets the kill onto Hawk, but is it going to be enough, as it is a 6v5? Azire is still fragging out, gets a double kill, and with it, Haku will manage to find one of his own onto Hypnot, and as we will see the rest of No Cloud being pushed back towards their spawn with this aggressive forward hold. I just cannot see how they can close this one out because Soundbear is still available, and with EMP2, it's gonna make things very difficult for them.
That EMP, I mean, look where Haku has snuck himself up to. I mean, he's just sitting there, EMP at the ready. We'll be able to force it onto Dogman. They take a quick kill. Jesus was lying in wait there as well.
I mean, the blade is still at the ready, so we'll still see whether or not they can make something happen, as it is going to be one kill onto Jer. Hobbs claims one of his own onto Haku, so it's 2 kills. Now make it a third one, but Jesus will still retaliate, gets one onto that Tracer, and we will see overtime kick through. Zaire really low, finally gonna be dropping, but nobody on the point. Now finally Hypnot looking to make something work, but it is not gonna be too successful, as overall Kungarna seems like they've done it.
Kungarna looking to hold. They should be able to take the D.Va down. Hawk will fall. Overtime ticking. Someone does make it over there. Insomniac falls as well. It's just clean up. Overtime goes. 80.9% Kungarna once again showing off their defensive prowess on Temple of Anubis.
And we'll see if they can have this, at the very least, a win coming up for themselves on the board, considering the fact that, once again, if they lose this one, they're out. It's all up to Anubis right now for them, and looking stellar so far. I was surprised Azar is stuck with the Doomfist, but considering, again, the fact that he did get close to that Meteor Strike, it is most likely the main reason behind it. But now that we will be making some swaps over, of course, both teams swapping sides, I'm curious to see whether or not we will have the Widowmaker come out here for No Cloud, because this Orisa Widow comp was very reminiscent of the previous patch, mostly in terms of Anubis, but not so much as of late.
I'm curious to see what they want to do, because they're going to be putting everybody up on that high ground. So obviously going with that Orisa style, you know, that you mentioned, and allowing Hobbs to be on the Widowmaker as well when they have Sugar Free. I mean, they're looking to try to make a first point hold if they can get it. But Kungarna, this is a more versatile, a more dynamic Kungarna than we saw on King's Row. You know, having their 2 DPS players in right now, it's going to be very difficult, as strong as they look, especially on this map, and what we've seen from them in the past, especially between Ezire and Jesus in particular, to try to make a stop here.
And even Insomniac now will be making the swap over to the Mercy, and the big problem with this composition is if they cannot get those first few kills, they might just be forced out of that high ground advantage, and this is all give up quite a bit. But over on the other side is going to be the dive comp for Kungarna. No Widowmaker this time. We'll see whether or not that's going to be overall better, as we'll see Hobbs look for a few early kills, potentially dropping Jesus pretty low, but he's going to be able to stay alive.
Sneaks his way up onto high ground, Brunch, and I wonder if he's going to be able to get that, you know, double blink, get off a bunch of damage off the first clip, reset, or maybe stay alive on the back side. The rest of the team is sneaking up, you know, behind them. They make their way up onto the high ground, so they're just going to contest from the opposite high ground, as now Last Night's Leftovers turning their sights. They're ready for this lead.
Well, they're actually going to go for it, but can't quite find the targets, as Desire is going to go down at the release, though they do get the D-suit onto Hawk, but this might not just be enough, as we will see Hypnot forced onto that low ground, and maybe that's going to be the big thing here, as Hobbs is still somehow finding the angles. It's going to be contested by the side of Chain, and overall finding another kill, this time around onto Haku. It will be No Clout winning out on this team fight.
Yeah, excuse me, No Clout. So used to that matchup from before, but anyways, No Clout with Hobbs. And for Sight already good to go. They do have Insomniac on the Mercy as well. Again, they're just trying to make the stay last here, as they know that they didn't get that second point secured. So they're going to try to either steal away as much time as possible here or try to make the full hold. Very difficult, though, as they have high ground control. They can't really fall down onto the point with as much control as they would have had if they would have been able to stay up there, obviously.
And now Jesus looking to split their attention. It will be Chain once again pulled off with the use of that halt Hypnot, being definitely a nuisance here, and Sugar Free claiming another kill, this time onto the Tracer. You know, if things that much more difficult, especially since Harblu is going to lose his suit. Jer does go down there in the end. It's gonna have to be off of those ultimates potentially here for Kungarna, as Hobbs, yes, while he did go down, the Resurrect is definitely gonna be available and an option here for Insomniac.
So they bring him back up. Barely deny the second tick, but they get it at least. And Izire coming back will have the blade. They definitely want to try to see if that can be basically the only thing that they'll have to use to try to get this. That's the ideal scenario. Maybe find a pick with the pulse bomb, because that can be generated very quickly as well. But having to use support ults to take this point and losing out more time, that's not going to bode well going for the first, engagement on objective B.
Oh, but he does get it onto Hypnot, so they need to secure something off of it. As we'll see Hobbs actually claim a kill onto Azire, unable to use the blade. Dogman even getting one of his own onto Jesus. In the meantime, though, Harblue will get one kill onto Hawk with the self-destruct, and it's not over just yet. Transcendence popped by Dogman, so if Azire can come back into the fight quickly enough, having the blade at the ready might be the big thing to secure this one, as Riptide is gonna be his Hypnot somehow still alive with the help of that Mercy. But finally, we might just see Kungarna get the win here with Harblue with a big double, but Sugar Free still finding this one out. Will find two of his own, and we might just see No Clout still contest onto the point, however, not being able to get back in the nick of time. It will be Kungarna clutching this one out.
Dogman supported there by Sugar Free. They'll find a kill on Jesus, so Kungarna will not be able to push just yet, but they have 4.5 minutes to secure what is basically the objective. I mean, it's just halfway through that third tick. 81% will get it, and they'll be able to move us into a map number 3. See if they can make this reverse sweep happen. Izire and Jer both holding on to very important ultimates for this first fight.
We'll see the sound barrier with the blade now come out. Both supports already out of the picture here for the defensive side. And with this third kill, things are looking stellar for Kungarna to potentially snowball this one, as they will look to clean things up. Nobody left onto the point. Team kill did go through. Dogman now coming back in onto Starboy. Will look to contest, not for too long. However, already 2 ticks on the board, and they don't get in time. Kungarna will take us to a third map.
Excellent performance, I think, between Izire and Jesus. We saw some good stuff across the board, but I think Izire on defense, bringing out that Doom Fist. I mean, it just was outstanding stuff to see them hold out like that and be able to get themselves into a situation where on point B, Izire again pulls the blade out and secures it for them.
And we will be moving on to a short break, but right after, we'll be right back with the decider map for this match between Kungarna and No Clout.
And we are back once again at the analysis desk. We did say that Kungarna is a bit random. I would call them something like Kinder Surprise. You never know what you're gonna get, so...
Well, the big thing right now is the fact that we don't know which one's gonna be right, but the 2-0 is definitely not gonna happen. Kungarna striking back, looking much better with that duo DPS, and I was really surprised to see the fact that Jesus didn't come out to play from King's Row.
That is true. They definitely look as a different team, so to say, when Jesus does play. So now coming into Oasis, it's 1-1. Whoever loses this match is out of the tournament. Who would you like to see to advance?
Well, it's a difficult one because I don't have any bias towards any team, of course, but now I'm questioning whether or not we will see Kungarna bring out somebody else in that DPS lineup, because Oasis is a map that favors heavily Pharah comps, and we will expect to see from No Clout, of course, them bringing Voil for that role. But on the other side, Kungarna, are they going to stick to Jesus and Azire, or are they going to look to adapt?
So Azire against Voil, Pharah battle, Rocket battle in the sky. Who do you think has the edge?
Well, Voil showed some excellent Pharah. Azire didn't really need to play it too much, so we don't really have as much of a indication to really gauge whether or not he can retaliate or he's going to be weaker or stronger.
Do you think we are going to see all 3 maps on Oasis?
That one is going to be dictated, I feel like, based off of which maps are going to be starting out here on Oasis. If it's going to be the ones that favor the Pharah, if a team is looking way more dominant with their respective Pharah, that will probably be a 2-0, else maybe a 2-1.
Let's see who's going to get eliminated. Hurix, take it away.
All right, we'll see who can win out on that Pharah duel that Brunch was just talking about. Izire versus Voil is what we've got. Voil was the guy we saw just before on Eichenwald get a barrage in about 20 seconds flat. And obviously not going to be able to get that here against what is not a quad tank composition, but starting things off, certainly looking to try to take the ground war to them.
Will be, though. Hypno dropping really low. First blood secured by Kungarna, as he's going to claim that one, looking to get another onto Hawk, as he will be disputed. And already, we'll see Kungarna looking very good here, poised to potentially get the first point cap. And this first round on Oasis.
Oh, Voil getting taken down pretty low, and it's just cleanup for Kungarna. While they didn't necessarily get the better end of the deal for the Pharahs, as both Pharahs just spent most of the fight whiffing on each other for the duration of that engagement. Kungarna, in the meantime, alongside Jesus, was able to just win the ground war, took the fight off of that, now holding things out, 13% already on the board for them, and we'll have to see.
Sneaky Tracer, though.
Uh-oh.
It's not going to really amount to anything. Hawk, though, will almost lose for his preferred, but retaliation coming from the other side. Hobbs will look to get something done, and he does just that with a kill onto Hardblue. Now, finally, things might turn around in favor of No Cloud, as we will see Voil look to get something done on the point. However, it is going to be Jesus still getting one onto Hawk, and we will see the Resurrect coming in from Dogman, as we will see still Kungarna not giving up just yet onto the point. Voil finally takes Azire to the sky, and with Hawk claiming Haku, I just can't see how Kungarna will win this one out in the end.
Took him to the ground, actually. Jer coming back onto the point. They're still stalling this one out, and Izire will be coming back with the barrage, so if they can last that long, which is going to be difficult as Jesus is just pulling out his recall now. Izire has a barrage to turn things. I don't imagine they want to pull this out here because he doesn't have any of that support. They will easily kill him, and they would lose that ultimate in the process. So coming back onto the point, still Kungarna looking to try to get as much as they possibly can, and they do wind up jumping off the point just long enough for No Cloud to steal it away from them. So now they're going to be surging forward. They do have a lot of ultimates, but I mean, coming back into it, Kungarna has a lot of options to look for some advantages going into this next fight.
That stall, though, coming in from Kungarna has said they will have a lot of ultimates being built up on their end. As you will see, Hobbs will still look for a potential angle off of the Pulse Bomb. So far, though, now that we will see the rest of Kungarna look to get onto the point, it will be it connecting onto the Diva once more. Sound barrier popped by both sides, and no kills on either end means that the Rocket Barrage is going to come out of Voil. He will go down, though, and as a result, with the 6v5 on the other side, Azire gets one return onto Dogman, and without the Mercy in this fight, it should be Kungarna potentially winning it out once again, unless No Cloud can really stall things out just as well, especially with Haku now going down. Hawk once again on that Diva, being exceptional, but not for long. And in the end, we might just see Kungarna get the point back.
Kungarna needs to take Voil out of the sky and then take Dogman along with them. They do that, but Jesus actually wound up throwing out the pulse bomb, didn't secure anything off of it, just threw it onto the floor. And they're looking to try to still take them out. And this is the same situation we saw before, just a massive stall coming from the team that has the point secured in their favor. And Hobbs gonna make them take a long time to do just that. Hawk will be able to stay alive even longer. And I don't believe anybody else should make it, so Kungarna will take it now, but with a 10% advantage at this current time. And they do also have both support ults to try to defend with.
That's gonna be the big thing here, Hurix. If they can really make sure that they don't overlap set ultimates, they could very well win this one out and claim that first win here on Oasis, as on the other side, it's only going to be Dogman really anywhere near one of those support ultimates himself or that Valkyrie. And so far, we'll see him not dropping pretty low. Valk popped from both ends, trying to keep their team members safe, healed up with that AoE heal, now spreading away. Pulse bomb is gonna connect. However, self-destruct will be used. Overtime kicking in. No kills on either side just yet. A sound barrier was gonna be used this time around from the other end. No Cloud could potentially finally turn things around, but we will still see Azire do quite a bit of damage onto that low ground as he'll be getting close to that rocket barrage. Overall though, dropping pretty low. Pulse bomb is gonna come out. Hobbs securing that kill onto Chain. It's gonna open things up for his team as it's a 6v5. Gets the D-suit onto Harbler as well. And overall, finally with these kills, it is going to be indeed once again No Cloud winning it out. Interesting back and forth, but one potential final team fight left here, Hurix.
Not a significant difference between the two Pharahs right now. I mean, not a big sway in either direction, I would say, but both of them will have their barrage in this next fight, and this will determine who takes the first map, who has the advantage, as it is tied up 1-1 right now in the set. And I'll have to see how they want to set things up, how the defense matrices come out. It comes down to everybody behind these barrages now.
And so far, it's going to be Insomniac dropping pretty low. Voil does go down. 2 kills in favor of Kungarna. 2 for 1 so far, as Hypnot did go in with a Primal Rage. Got 1 onto Jesus. But overall, this should be Kungarna turning things around, getting a potential team fight and the point, but not without a bit of retaliation from the other side. Self-destruct is actually going to get Haku, so it's not done and dusted just yet, as Hawk is going to be continuously fragging out on that Diva, making things very difficult here for Kungarna to get the point back in their favor. But now finally coming back from spawn, even the Voil is going to go in for the Sombra. It is going to be the sound barrier available on the side of Kungarna. Dogman getting the Resurrect is not going to be enough, and it seems like eventually this should be Kungarna winning it out.
They secure it. A lot of explosive action as Haku comes in on the Soldier as well. They get it. Overtime will tick, and 100-99, a bloodbath at the end as Kungarna takes the lead. 1-0 in this best of 3, deciding who stays and who goes home. I mean, every chip is on the table now. We already saw how really, I mean, there wasn't a significant advantage between the two Pharahs. I imagine that they're going to try to get one here on both sides. Voil was really looking for Izire a lot of times, but Izire got the better end of the deal, I would say, at the very end, when he snuck up over the top of Voil's barrage and then barraged on top of his head, was able to give them that momentum to be able to secure it there. We'll have to see if Voil can return fire here and be able to take him out of the sky, or if it's going to be the same case where it's just either nullified or Izire can take the lead.
So far, of course, same compositions on both sides. We'll have to see No Cloud start making things work for them after that very close first round. And so far, just both teams poking away. Izire getting hit by a direct rocket. It's not really going to go down with the help of Haku, of course. By his side is going to make things a little bit easier. Overall, both teams looking to get that high ground advantage, but I just think back and forth means that it might just come down to these ultimates now being charged up. Hobbs looking for an angle, will be dropping down eventually, and so far, and the small advantage being built up in favor of Kungarna as they're going to look to secure something on this point. Hobbs lying in off the side will split their attention, however, as it's still the Valkyrie now finally available on both ends.
Ezire and Voil looking to each other soon.
Oh!
As you can see that Ezire is looking for that opportunity, but Chain will fall now. Things open up for No Clout.
Even though Harblue did manage to get that Matrix to secure the pulse bomb, there it will be overall. Harblue getting a big double off of the self-destruct. Big plays coming out of him, and just like that, with that triple, they're gonna somehow still turn things around once again and potentially secure this first point cap for their team.
And Kungarna, that's a big lead because, I mean, what a swing from Harblue. Not only gobbling up that pulse bomb and in such a big way, was able to, while that might have been a momentum shifter in itself, he was able to get that massive 2K off of the self-destruct. Huge plays from Harblue.
But they still have to keep it up, of course. As so far will be the sound barrier popped from the other side. Vo is at the ready with the rocket barrage, but so is Desire. And so far it's gonna be Hawk losing that mech. So far kills in favor of Kungarna once more as Jesus gets one, Chain secures a second, and it does seem like they will manage to get a hold of this point once again. Nothing really gained for the other side, and they even committed 2 ultimates for it.
Both Pharah's hanging on to barrage as well, so I imagine they're going to want to try to get aggressive to try to get that early advantage, try to put some pressure onto the tank line, especially as defense matrix wears low. But now they're going for each other. Ezire looking for Voil if he can, has him down on the low ground, already putting pressure out. Voil taken down to about half, and so will Dogman, but they still have the ability to battle into this one. Jesus gonna recall, so that's down now as he's looking for the stick. Will get it onto Hypnot. They need to secure the kill though quickly.
As the rocket barrage will be the fall from Voil, does get taken down in the end. The resurrect could come through as Desire claims another one onto Insomniac. However, self-destruct is going to be used. Haku managed to sneak in for a resurrect, so it's not over just yet. Looking to still battle this one out, and this is very important for No Clout. If they lose this team fight, they might as well just lose the series potentially here with 81% being built up. Kungarna once again pushing them back. Things are looking very dire right now for No Clout.
But they'll be able to have that extra bit of time. You know, Hawk going to be able to get back into mech. It's going to be very desperate as he's going to, you know, need some time to get over there, and Hypnot is not going to be able to seemingly push in, but at least they're there to try to, you know, trigger that overtime. We see kills already coming out, pressure on the Hypnot. They're so scattered right now.
And it's a 1-for-1 trade, and as a result, things are still not really sure as to which one is going to come out on top. But with Harblue securing another one onto Dogman right before the sound barrier gets casted. Could be a big one as Jerry will go down and return still. An interesting back and forth as we still cannot really call out any team to win out. But as I say that, Jesus is going to get another one onto Hypnot. Voil coming back from spawn this time around to the Soldier. Will look to make something happen, but it seems like it's not going to be successful. Overtime, kicking through. Desire getting another kill off of the rocket barrage. Only Hawk now left to contest will have the resuit as he did get a kill onto Harblue, but it seems like overall this should be Kungarna making it through, advancing through the losers bracket as we will once again see Hawk lose another pair of mech, and with that kill coming through in the end, Kungarna looking to settle this one with a 2-0 win on Oasis.
Just moments away from it. Need to secure the kill into Hypnot. Need to keep Ezire safe as well. They're finding these kills in a good amount of time, and on top of that, now just looking for the Tracer after the recall. They do scope him out. Hobbs still staying alive. Overtime ticks, but oh, the Diva almost made it. Hawk will not make it in the end, though. Kungarna 2-0 on Oasis to take the series 2-1. And Gravity, ooh, you're wrong, buddy.
Play of the game.